Have you ever felt totally relaxed in your home until the kids get back, and then suddenly you're tiptoeing, trying to manage the moods, the mess, and maybe even feeling like you're the one who doesn't belong here? It's a very common feeling for stepmoms to have. I'm Deanna, and I love exploring all the complexities of blended family life and sharing parts of my journey with you. And last time I was looking at kids in two homes, how we can create a home environment for kids who are going back and forth between two different households. But the reality is, for stepmoms, it can also sometimes feel like we're living in two different homes, the one where the kids are here and the one where they're not. This may be especially true if it's just you and your partner when the kids go, but even for those of us who have ours babies, there's a difference when it's the whole family and when it's not. And that's not to blame the kids for changing the energy in the house. It's just true that everybody who's in the household brings their own energy in, and everything feels different when it's a family of 3 versus a family of 5, like in our case. So today I want to walk you through naming those feelings, accepting them, embracing them, and feeling maybe a little less alone if you feel like this, like you live in two different houses, even though it's just one. It totally makes sense to feel this way as a stepmom or a stepdad because let's face it, kids are loud, kids are messy, kids are moody, and whether you're dealing with little kids or preteens or teenagers, they're going to bring in all of their own stuff anytime that they walk in the door. And one thing that I've learned is we sometimes may feel like we're grasping for control and may look to different ways to do that. And I think a very common one, especially for stepmoms, is trying to manage the environment. A lot of us fall into the trap of over tidying before they come or trying to pre-plan everything that's going to happen. I've spoken about this before. This is something that I continue to struggle with. I feel like I've gotten a lot more relaxed with it, but initially, early as a stepmom, I think I viewed it as creating stability and predictability and routine for them and also for myself. But the truth is, it was actually just extra work for me most of the time. And I think this is such a common one that a lot of us are doing, which is why I keep coming back to it. It's something that a lot of stepmoms do. There's a difference between kind of the taking care of yourself. Okay, I will feel better if I'm prepared. I will feel better if I've taken care of this before they come back. That is one thing. It's a different one to treat it like you're preparing for guests. You're not preparing for guests. They live here. And this attempt to control the environment can come out in a couple of different ways. For me, it was usually like over preparing, thinking, okay, if I take care of all these things, then when they're here, I can be totally present with them and nothing will be hanging over my head. It'll all be taken care of. And then another way is actually kind of the opposite, to disappear into the background and busy yourself with chores and housework when the kids are there, as a way of avoiding connecting with them. And I think either one of these can go to an extreme. I've gotten more comfortable with it's okay for the kids to see me doing housework and kind of having to take care of things and even doing work when they're around. It doesn't mean that I'm avoiding them or not wanting to hang out with them. They see their other parents do that, and that's okay. So that's one thing that I have had to sort of come to terms with. I don't need to just make it my job to hang out with them when they're here, and anything else that could possibly be on my mind I should do before they even get here. That's just not realistic. It doesn't work. So if that's something you relate to, if you find yourself doing that, I would encourage you to think about where that comes from. And for me, I've had to be really honest with myself that there was maybe a part of me that felt like I needed to earn my right to be here, that I needed to prove myself, prove my worth in my own home and in my own family. And that is not something that was coming from my partner. That was something that I was bringing in. And I'm not trying to beat myself up or say it was all that. Some of it was very well intentioned. But I think if we really look deep down at some of our behaviors and where they might be coming from and get really honest with ourselves when we're step parents, when we're in a blended family, there can be that feeling of like, where do I fit exactly? What's my role here? And trying to figure that out. And so it can make us maybe overcompensate and feel like we really have to prove that we deserve to be here and that we bring value to the family. I want you to know you deserve to be here. You deserve to rest. You deserve to take up space. You deserve to be a whole human in your family, not a role. Really know that. Feel it deep in your bones. You deserve to be here. This is your home. And the kids deserve to be here too. They are whole, complete, complicated humans. They can't be managed or controlled. You can't be fully prepared for them. You are all existing together in this family. Now, if you related more to the other side of this, maybe you're busying yourself in the household and looking at it going, maybe I am avoiding hanging out with the kids or making myself available to them because I don't really know how to connect with them. I would encourage you to lean into this idea of activities. If you feel more comfortable doing something rather than just sitting down and going, hey, what's up? Figure out something that you and your stepkid can do together. I've talked about this before, that a lot of kids do respond to this better anyway, bonding through some kind of activity. And a lot of times when you're doing something side by side, whether it's sitting and doing a craft together or walking or driving or playing mini golf, these kind of take the pressure off of the conversation. And in my experience, that can be a really great way in. And kind of the opposite of that, but also effective, just try to take the opportunity to rest and just be with your kids, not needing to do anything. I have also found that those can be really tender moments and sometimes less about conversation and more about just sharing the space together and feeling really comfortable and at home together. It can honestly be as simple as reading a book together or even watching a movie together. Just sharing the space and being together. There is something really special about being in a room with people who love you and accept you the way you are and being able to just exhale together. It actually has a lot of value. And again, this has been for me something that I've continued to explore, is sometimes doing less and being more, just focusing on being. So those are ideas for kind of taking this feeling of home and letting yourself feel at home, and also making space for the kids to feel at home too, and how we can create that together and connect. But I also want to come back to just you and come back to, as the step parent who's maybe been feeling this way, who's maybe felt a little bit like a guest in the home or an outsider, what can we actually do for ourselves to feel a little bit less like that? First, I would look at, is this coming from anybody else? Because if it isn't just your own feeling, if there are things that are happening, behaviors from your partner and maybe the stepkids that are creating that feeling for you, you're being left out of things, you're being maybe literally told like, hey, we don't want you here, that's a totally different thing. And those are conversations that you really will have to have with your partner. I'm talking more about when we're sort of internally feeling this way. So first identify, is this coming from any outside perspectives? And if so, how do I stand up for myself? I talk a lot about the difference between kindness and people pleasing, things that we are doing because we feel that it's the right thing to do versus things that we might be doing to try to make other people happy or because we're seeking approval from someone else. And so again, this is a good time to look at that and look at, if you've been feeling like a guest in your home and maybe you're being treated like a guest in your home, that does mean that you need to voice that. You need to voice that to your partner, and your partner needs to be the one who sort of creates that boundary with the kids. If the kids are speaking to you in that way, that is something that your partner really needs to have your back. This may go without saying, but just to be clear, when I say bring this up to your partner and stand up for yourself, I don't mean pick a fight. I don't mean go into battle with your partner like, hey, you guys treat me like I don't belong here and your kids are mean to me and I'm not the maid. None of that is going to go well. You don't want your partner to feel defensive. You want them to feel protective. You want them to know, oh my gosh, I had no idea you were feeling this way and how can I help? And a lot of that is going to be how you bring this up to them and how you discuss it with them. So if you're identifying this as part of the reason you're not feeling totally at home, that it is coming from external people, don't wait for that to blow up. Get clear about what it is you want to say to your partner and find a good time when you're both feeling calm and connected and the kids are not around to bring it up lovingly, and again, without making accusations and without picking a fight. This next part will be true for you whether or not the feelings are coming from external or just internal. So if they're coming from external, you want to start there. And then that doesn't mean now it's all on them to change their behavior, because you have probably been also participating in the dynamic the way that it existed before. And so now you're going to adjust accordingly. And this is the part where I think it's true for all of us. If it's external or internal, we need to look at what we're doing and what we need to do differently. And exactly what you do to shift your behavior and to shift the energy in your home and how you're feeling in the home is going to be highly personal. So I'm not going to prescribe a one-size-fits-all thing to do here. But again, just sharing from my experience, I think for me, choosing the things that really ground me and that anchor me, where I feel prepared when the kids come here, has been helpful. Figuring out what I can let go, what is less important to me, what I can do when they're here versus what I really feel I need to focus on when they're not here. And this will also vary depending on your custody arrangement. So if you're like us and there's a lot of back and forth, it's going to be different than if you do longer stretches with the kids and without the kids. So again, for me, just kind of having a running list of like, these are the things that I really like to take care of when they're not here so that I don't feel like this is hanging over my head, has been really helpful for me. And then making it a priority also to just do something for you, something that you would do if nobody needed anything from you. So that could be any number of things, and it doesn't even need to always be the same thing, because again, we have different needs on different days. And so what might feel great one day is actually not going to be the thing that recharges you another day. Even if what you need is just like 30 minutes of quiet, asking your partner to take the kids outside for a little bit, sometimes that does the trick for me. And I feel like totally recharged and ready to go out and join them and play with them, but I just need a little bit of quiet. It is okay to ask for that. As stepmoms, I don't know that we always feel like we can. I know as moms, we don't always feel like we can. But for some reason, this role of step-parent can feel extra like we're not supposed to ask for that. Ask for it. Name what you need, name what will help you feel more charged, ready to show up, fully present, and really be there as part of the family. What will make you feel like this is your home, where you can relax. Name it. And be prepared to reciprocate. Again, I talk about this a lot, but so much of the blended family thing is also really rooted in the couple, right? We are the foundation. And so, yes, ask your partner for what you need, and also be like, hey, and then when you need that, go ahead, just let me know and you get 30 minutes of quiet. We just have to help each other out. Another way to make sure that your home continues to feel like your home, even when the kids are there, is to have a sacred space. So for many of us, this might be the bedroom. And maybe the kids are not allowed in the bedroom if they're not invited in. And so that way you can keep it your little sanctuary. And if you need to retreat to it, there will not be kids in there. That is what we do. The kids can come into our room, but they have to be invited in and we have to be in there with them. So there's no going there and being surprised by children. Creating a space to go when you need space is going to set you up for success in these little moments of reset if you need them. So again, to just kind of recap, if you're feeling this feeling of not feeling totally at home, feeling a little bit like a guest, first identify, is it totally internal or are there some external voices that are adding to that feeling? If there are external voices, start there. Start with those conversations. Then get to work on yourself. Look at what you're doing in advance of the kids coming. What is it that you're trying to manage or control, and how is that manifesting? Ask for space when you need it. Create that space to go to, and trust and know that you belong here. I appreciate you spending your time with me today, and if you got anything out of this video, please give it a thumbs up and feel free to check out some of my other content for more support for blended families. I'll see you next time.